The most important thing that Elliott Wave gives you is it gives you a description of the market. It's completely and wholly based on market psychology. There's no way of getting around it. Sometimes as technical analysts, especially nowadays as we have more and more powerful computers, we tend to forget that everything doesn't have to be represented in bits and bytes. We're working towards Elliott Wave. There's a guy named Swinell who has created some computer programs that actually do a fairly decent job of counting waves. But the bottom line is that the whole theory behind Elliott Wave is all about human behavior. Prechter has developed the idea of socioeconomics simply because the global economy, the whole world, is based on how people react to all sorts of inputs. But for our purposes, I'm only interested in, and this is the only way I personally use Elliott Wave, is to try to forecast markets, interest rates, currencies, stock indices, and to a lesser degree, individual stocks. That was one of the questions on the forum. Does Elliott Wave work for individual stocks? The answer is yes, especially if they're high volume, large cap stocks. I don't know if I'd use it for a stock that trades by appointment because there really isn't a crowd. Elliott Wave requires a crowd. But what Elliott Wave does is it gives you this context, this big picture look, as well as a short-term look, because it works fine on intraday charts as well, as to how people are reacting to stimuli. Motive wave. There's also something called a diagonal triangle, which we'll talk about later, where there's this, I told you there was this one exception, there's this overlap. That's also a motive wave, but it's not an impulse wave, but it's still in the direction of the trend. The general movement of prices is higher. Diagonal triangle, for those of you that are not Elliott Wave analysts, is also known as a wedge. Complete cycle, 5 waves up, 3 waves down. That was what the pretty picture I had before. Even numbered waves within a motive wave are corrective waves.
It would be a continuation pattern in individual stocks, but not in the broad market? Or does it matter?
The patterns, as far as Elliott Wave is concerned, it's irrelevant. If it's in wave 5, it's the end of the move. This could be wave 1 of wave 5 in very rare cases, and then you'd have wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And how would you know that? This was a big move, took 6 months. And this wedge developed in 3 days, which isn't really a wedge or diagonal triangle. I'll use the Elliott term. That means that you're probably jumping the gun. That's the application-wise. You'll keep yourself out of a lot of hot water by avoiding labeling things that look kind of nice, that complete in 3 days using 15-minute charts that you think represent the end of a cycle that took 18 months. That's one way you'll stay out of trouble. Everyone falls into it. Oh, look at this. I got a gorgeous 5-wave pattern. And look at this. This was January to April. This took us to June. This till here was till October. This took me till the end of December. And on January 3rd, wow, I got a 5th-wave failure. No, you don't. That's wave 1. That's maybe still wave 4 even. I have no idea. But that as far as practicality, and even for the exam, that's something that you're going to need to be aware of. If they show you something, my wife wasn't talking to me, which actually should have been good, but 3rd waves are usually, again, the most powerful waves, except when they're not. But usually in stock markets, I've found in bond markets as well. That's what you look for. The minute you think you have a good pattern completing wave 2, and if volume starts to pick up, these are pretty big moves, but they can happen fairly quickly. Jump on it.
ポーザーのエリオット波動。ポーザーのエリオット波動では CMT レベル2とレベル3を受験する人を対象に難関の一つと言われるエリオット波動について解説をしている。講師はエリオット波動に関する著書もあるスティーブ・ポーザー氏だ。試験準備という観点から複雑な波動理論とそのルールを簡潔明快に、そして覚えやすく紹介している。もちろん、エリオットの実践家であるポーザー氏は、知識の整理という観点とは別に、エリオットの実践経験から有益な示唆も多く提供している。